Hello, welcome back and welcome if you're new. My name is Megan and my channel is all about mastering our mindset, building confidence, and taking action towards our highest life. So something silly that I've always wanted to do is to have an advice column in a magazine. Last week on Instagram, in the name of just not caring what people think and just throwing it out there, I put up an Ask Meg column on my stories. So let's go ahead and jump into Ask Meg episode 1. I really love this question. It says, is closure from an ex necessary, or is it better to just move on? And here's the thing, I think that a conversation is required, especially in a long-term relationship, but the word closure, I don't really know that that exists quite in the way that we often want it and that we're seeking out. I think closure means that we have an understanding of why something didn't work out, and it gives us a sense of ability, I guess, to accept it and to move on. But I don't always know that we ever really get that until we go through the hard work of going through the motions of the breakup, really healing ourselves and coming out on the other side of it and seeing the lesson. But I think that closure and that lesson comes after some of the hurt and after some of the pain. So just knowing that you're not going to be able to skip that step, you're going to have to feel it. And if you're going back and continuing to have conversations with your ex in order to gain closure, I think you're really just kind of torturing yourself. It super sucks, it's gonna hurt, but I really think it's important to make that break. Once you have had the conversation, once it's officialized, then really cutting your losses and moving on, I think, is the best way to begin to heal. You need that space, and as long as you are emotionally attached and talking to somebody, I think it makes it a lot harder to actually move on and heal. How do you approach the unknown? It terrifies me. I definitely get that. I'm a person who likes structure, I like routine, and there's been a lot of uncertainty recently for a lot of us, but I think it's really stepping into that uncertainty with the perspective of what could possibly happen that's really amazing. Take the pandemic, for example. There's been a lot of people who have really struggled, and through their struggle have maybe tried out a new hobby or found a new passion and just kind of leaned into that and made miraculous changes in their lives, started businesses, started new careers. So as much as there is anxiety in the unknown, I think there's always some sort of lesson or some sort of takeaway from that scenario. Maybe writing out a list or scripting out how you do want it to go. But just like breakups, so much of the most amazing experiences in our lives come through hardship. And if you look back at your life, I'm sure you're able to see these really cool transformations that have happened in yourself and in your life. So if we can go into these situations of unknown, knowing that there's going to be something amazing that comes from it, and really trying to reach for that and keep that as our focus, I think that's all we can do to see the best in whatever is happening in our lives. This next question is more of like a marketing and personal branding question. So it was, how do you pick a niche when you have so many interests? And I definitely understand that. And I think the cool thing about having a personal brand is that you can create whatever you want your niche to be. So this person, for example, I think already has it down. She's all about body confidence, mental health, even, normalizing medication for mental health and things like that. She's also super into beauty and hair, and she's really, really talented that way. So that is a niche in itself. I think it's just picking those main things, and you see those consistent themes coming up in what you want to talk about and what you're helping people with on a regular basis. Mainly, we need to take the pressure off of ourselves and just create the things that we're passionate about and that make us happy. Another question was managing money, which is something that has always been a little bit of a funny thing for me. I haven't always had the best relationship with money, but this year I've really taken a new mindset and a new ownership of my finances, starting a new job, taking on another job that would put me in a better financial position. And so now that I am making some progress, I have really strong money habits. I've shared my kind of money tracker and my budget. I keep track of everything that comes in, everything that goes out. But one thing that I did start to really just have as like the main focus of my month-to-month goals when it comes to money is having an abundance of money in the bank at the end of the month. And that really came from the book Get Rich Lucky Bitch, where she talks about kind of training ourselves to be okay with excess. I think if you've experienced being in debt and trying to pay off debt really quickly, and you get a bit of money and then not that you blow it, but maybe you pay off something really big, or you kind of are always left feeling like you're starting back at zero. And so my mindset has really been to build up a bit of a buffer to continue to pay off my debt, but to have a more solid plan. I do have a couple videos on money and I'll list them down below. And I will also have my budget tracker available for download. So that will be in the description box as well. The next one is how to market yourself for brands, for paid sponsorships, which is something I also really want to focus on this year. I have been very intentional in the type of community that I'm looking to build, and then the partnerships that I look to create in combination with that. And so having a media kit so that when you do pitch to a potential partnership, they can look at your online presence and know what you're about, and that you have engaged people who really value what you have to say, and it's how you can then communicate that relationship that you have with your community to these brands. So that's really where the stats and the data comes into play. I would say making sure that you're really super consistent. A brand isn't going to invest in you if you only show up once a year, I do have a free template for my media kit, so you can kind of use what I have and build off of that. So I'll leave that down below. I'll leave a couple links down below for people in my community that really do specialize in creating those brand partnerships and deal with influencer marketing. They might have a little bit more specifics. I want to become a social media manager. Where do I start? First things first, Latasha. You need to check out her content. You need to check out her social media manager toolbox. If only that existed when I started. It's full of templates for pitches, social media audits, onboarding, like everything that you can imagine. So I think getting those systems down from the beginning is really positive, so you're not trying to piece that together down the road. And then really for me, all of my clientele came through showing up online, starting to talk about what I do, providing advice, and really connecting with people. Start talking to the people who are in your immediate group. The more people that know what you do, the more word of mouth plays in your favor. Obviously, there's a lot of people online, so I think you need to do more than posting on social media, but I think that's a really great basis to start to build that relationship, maybe reaching out to try and do an intro package to build that portfolio. But really, I think it's just getting started and marketing your skills. Hopefully that helps, but Latasha, I think, will be a really, really amazing resource for you. Tips for improving body image. So this is a big one. It's a bit of a loaded question, but I do feel like I've come a really long way in how I feel about myself and how I feel about my body. Don't get me wrong, I'm still terrified of aging. I still have trouble loving my cellulite and my legs. And so I'm not at this point where I just love everything about myself, but I've definitely come a long ways. So a lot of this I really feel like comes back to our mindset and building up our confidence in ways that has absolutely nothing to do with our body, and finding worth in ourselves aside from our body. So when you're really passionate about what you want in life and you feel fulfilled that way, I think it takes off some of that pressure for like your body to be the thing, like your worth. And I definitely understand that feeling. Things like mirror work and tapping and really retraining our brain in the way that we allow ourselves to speak about ourselves, I think is a really, really good place to start. Finding what you do enjoy about yourself, learning to dress in a way that you feel really confident, and finding your own sense of personal style. All of these things can really translate into you owning and showing up as who you are, instead of trying to hide your body and feel like there's something wrong with it. Okay, so I'm running out of light. My camera's died 3 times now, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming along on the first episode of Ask Meg. If you have any questions you'd like me to cover, let me know down below. I found this super helpful in just learning, kind of what's on your mind and what you guys might be going through or struggling with, and I can then try and create content around that. If you don't follow me on Instagram, check me out there. And other than that, I will see you guys all next week. Bye guys.